What's going on, everyone? Lee Taft here with Double Dribble Kids, where we're trying to bring youth sports back to kids, families, and the communities. And I want to talk about something. This is a little bit different. I've actually written a lot about this and spoke often about it for many years. Is we got to make sure our young kids, and I'm talking about even if you have 6, 7, 8-year-olds up to teenagers and everything, got to make sure they're getting sprinting in, they're running. Okay, so we talk about all these, I'm a big push here on youth travel basketball. Got to get rid of it. And if I would be thrilled if it just was stopped. It was outlawed and it was stopped, and we restarted it. And we said only these players, these elite players, once they hit 9th grade, are allowed to be on elite travel teams. Everybody else, you can have a conglomeration of area kids. In other words, you don't have to play with your own school all the time if you want to have a travel, but those kids are going to play in local community leagues. Okay, could be 10 to 16 teams, have an A and a B division or whatever, and then they meet at the end, almost like the NBA has an East and a West, and they meet at the end. You can do stuff like that. That's awesome. That's fun to do. But I really think we have to make sure that we keep considering, let's get parents to just say, no more. I'm not paying $20 every time my husband and wife and my 2 other kids want to go into a game to watch really bad basketball. I'm not going to do that anymore. And I'm not going to pay, $1,500 to $5,000 to be on an elite team that goes 6 months with kids you don't even know if they're going to love the sport for very long, right? It's got to stop. And it doesn't mean kids aren't going to develop. And I would even be willing to bet most of those kids, if it's done better with more rest, less playing, kids will get better and better. And we won't see this scary kind of trend we're seeing right now, where high school kids getting ready to go into college are developing knees and back and ankles and hips as well of 28, 29, 30-year-old players. And that's what I'm hearing even from NBA strength coaches and performance staffs that deal with one and dones, 19-year-olds coming in, and then these college strength coaches, they're like, Lee, you can't believe the injuries we're seeing on these kids. They can't play. Like, a lot of them have to redshirt or they get rid of them. They can't keep them because they're injured all the time. So you're making a big mistake if you keep pushing. All right, jump back into sprinting. Get your young kids sprinting. Basketball demands speed. You got to be quick. And even if you're not genetically gifted, like you get some people just, mom and dad weren't real fast, but that's okay. We can get faster and we can get quicker and we become more efficient. Now, if you think, my son's a basketball player and he loves soccer and he maybe plays, football or something like that, or baseball, softball, whatever. And in the off season, we're going to have him do distance running. We're going to have him run cross country. What a big mistake. There's too many other things you can do to get your athletes in shape, but not lose speed. So I talked earlier about like 6 to 8 years old, about 6 to 8 years old. We know that the nervous system is really thirsty and it's ready for speed. And then the kids are going to hit a little bit of growth spurt. They're going to, maybe be a little bit painful at times, uncomfortable, very stiff. Maybe maximal speed's not the best thing for them to do. Like if they're complaining of heel pain around the bottom of their knee, a little bit of hip pain, they're growing, the bones are growing, maybe don't do the sprinting. And this is stuff I'm talking to parents right now. I'm not even talking to coaches. Parents, you should have your kids be doing this. Get them outside, mark it off, use a measuring tape and get 20 meters, 20 yards, and then get 25 yards, and then get 30, and teach them to sprint. Get them to run fast. They can play, tag, relays, you can chase each other, whatever. They got to learn to turn their body over. Several things happen with young kids when they do that. Number one, they develop the quickness of ground contact time. So in other words, they hit the ground really quick and they get off the ground really quick. That's really important. Number two, they start to develop hip and core relationship as the hips and the core stabilize the pelvis and the spine and the femur, as that big bone has to swing forward and backwards. They start to develop a really good coordination and a sequencing of that. And they start to develop really good, efficient arm action to help them be able to run. And you can give them little tips. There's a ton of stuff out there. But what I would do if I'm dealing with, the little kids, maybe you stay at 10 to 15 to 20 yards, let them develop a little bit. They can run longer than that. It's not going to hurt them, but sometimes that might be a little bit tough on them. And then as they get a little bit older, now start to go the sequence of 6 weeks and then have it reoccurring. If you want to take a week off, fine, but then just keep it going. I only sprint twice a week, and I only do 5 sprints in the first week. And then it goes 4 to 5 in the second week, and then it goes 4 in the third, and then it goes 3 to 4 in the fourth and the third, and then it goes down to 3, then it goes 2 to 3 as we end that final 6th week. So just keep subtracting one rep. And then the distance goes from 20 to 25 to 30 to 35 to 40. And then for my older middle school to high school, we jump it up to 50. So it goes from 40 to 50 on that 6th week. And it's good for them. It's good for them to get out there and sprint that distance. That's fine. It's healthy on them. Just make sure they have a really good quality warm up of high knees and skips and some mobility and maybe some squats in place and some toe raises and heel raises. Just get them good and loose, a little bit sweaty, and then let them sprint. What a great way to develop speed. So now when they get back on the basketball court, they're going to have great speed, and they're going to be much more effective when they're trying to defend. Believe it or not, this will help their lateral speed, because you're going to start throwing in there the 7-yard shuffle, which we do anywhere from 2 to 4 reps per side. They shuffle 7 yards as fast as they can, and then they rest, they come back, and they switch to the other side. Very simple stuff. So the sprint program is really effective for your young kids to get involved, all right? So as we're trying to bring this double dribble kids around the world here, and especially in America, where we have a really big problem with travel sports, let's make sure we're taking care of our kids. Get them faster, keep them healthy, get them laterally faster, and make sure that they're avoiding things that are going to slow them down and teach bad patterning, which is long distance running. If they're going to do that because they love it and they love cross country, fine. But if you're saying to me as a performance coach, Lee, I want to get them faster and I want to get them, in shape for a basketball season, so I'm going to have them run 3 months of long, slow distance running. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, you want to get them fast, get them to do things quickly. So keep them out of that long distance stuff. If you're trying to make them faster, we can get them in shape. There's many ways to get them in shape. Shuttle runs, many different exercises. Just playing the game gets them in pretty good shape as well. Okay, guys, let me know what I can do. If you have any questions, just send them my way. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.